All right, hey everyone, it is Sunday afternoon, May 17th, 2026, and getting ready to head into a fairly active pattern here to start off the week. Sunday, the hottest day of the year so far. High temperatures well into the upper 80s and quite a bit of humidity out there. Not enough for a heat index, but it was notable. Definitely felt like summer on Sunday afternoon. Big complex of storms developing out west, out across parts of Nebraska and all the way up into South Dakota and back southward into parts of Kansas, where there are tornado watches out to our west, out across the plains. That is a large complex of thunderstorms that's going to start developing over the next, say, 12 hours and get a little closer to us. Now, I'm going to tell you that the forecast for the next couple of days, Monday and Tuesday, features a lot of uncertainty. Where we get into what we call MCS season, which stands for Mesoscale Convective System. I don't expect you guys to remember that, but big complexes of thunderstorms that are really tricky to forecast, especially when it comes to track. So let's try to pick up on some of this. We'll start tonight. Again, the storms developing out to the west will continue, and a big complex of thunderstorms expected Monday morning to be moving across northwest Missouri. The question is, how far south will those storms make it on Monday? And especially as we get into Monday afternoon, we do anticipate some weakening as those storms get a little closer to us. This model in particular gets them into our region early to mid-afternoon. It's probably going to be, say, mid-afternoon, most likely, if these storms make it to us. And they should be losing some steam as well. But you'll see what they become outflow driven, meaning we will likely see some outflow boundaries, rain-cooled air getting pushed out ahead of some of those storms into southern Illinois. It's running into a strong south breeze, which means that those storms could be pretty slow to progress across the region. And if these storms make it to us, again, late in the day Monday, we could see showers and thunderstorms kind of train over the same area. So there is some concern. Yes, we could see a couple of stronger storms, potentially with some hail and some gusty winds. In addition to that, we could see some torrential rainfall. But again, there's still a lot of questions on exactly how far south these storms will make it, whether or not they will make it into southern Illinois. So that's something we'll be tracking throughout the day on Monday. And then as we get into Monday night into Tuesday, another big complex of thunderstorms develops out to our west. And once again, the timing on this is still pretty uncertain. I know that there's been a lot of buzz on social media saying, hey, Tuesday's the big day for severe weather. Well, we're going to have to see how everything plays out because, again, the storm system on Monday could drastically impact how things play out on Tuesday as well. But either way, there's a chance that, yes, we could see a few stronger storms Monday afternoon and then again throughout the day on Tuesday. And the main threat really is going to be large hail and potentially isolated damaging winds. Can't ever entirely rule out a brief spin-up tornado, but it's just not the main threat with these big complexes of thunderstorms like this. These are more what we expect, honestly, in May and into June. We get into this time of year, these big complexes of thunderstorms make their way through. So we'll be keeping an eye on those for the next couple of days. Notice Storm Prediction Center does put areas along the I-64 corridor in a level 2, all the way up to St. Louis and back over towards, say, Mount Vernon, pretty close to Pinckneyville and Sparta, and then further to the south, we see a level 1. That's some of the uncertainty from the Storm Prediction Center on exactly how far south those storms are going to make it throughout the day on Monday. Now into Tuesday, notice everybody in a level 2. So the Storm Prediction Center at least having slightly higher confidence in this. But again, not at this point expecting a big severe weather outbreak. This is more in the way of potentially some isolated large hail and potentially some strong damaging winds in a few spots as well. So it is something we will be keeping a close eye on. The other thing I want to talk about is notice you'll see a lot of moisture available from these storms. And I know we need the rain, but we don't need thunderstorms to track over the same areas multiple times, which causes training and causes a lot of runoff and potentially some flash flooding. So there is some flash flood threat here. Again, those storms kind of making their way in from the north and west, running into a stout south wind. And they kind of stall out right over top of us. But that moisture kind of pools. Now, this is what we call precipitable water, meaning just how much water is available or how much moisture is available in the atmosphere. When you start seeing the brighter yellows and the pinks there show up on this model, that's a pretty good indication. Yeah, that's pretty high moisture. So, again, there is a chance that some of these storms could track over the same areas multiple times, especially late Monday and then again on Tuesday. notice moisture really starts to ramp up on Tuesday out ahead of that next round. So I think there's a pretty good bet that we are at least going to see widespread showers and thunderstorms over the next couple of days. Probably a better chance Tuesday than Monday. But again, a lot of uncertainty on exactly how everything is going to play out. All right, we appreciate you joining us each week for these weekly weather videos and these weekly weather updates. These are brought to you, of course, by Clark Mix On Site Concrete. I saw that they were just down at Lake of Egypt putting in some sand for somebody to have a beach. So they do all kinds of different things. Mix On Site Concrete, though, will save you time, save you money. They've got concrete pump trucks. They sell gravel. Located on the east side of Marion, so a locally owned company. And they've got some pretty cool stuff. So again, if you've got a project that you're working on, make sure you give Clark Mix On Site Concrete a call, 618-997-3889. All right, let's talk about temperatures for the next week or so. I'm going to bring that down. That's an 87, kind of hidden by my logo there. Dropping back a couple of degrees as we head into Tuesday. More the chances of rain around, so pretty warm, pretty humid for Monday, Tuesday. And then dropping back behind the cold front. Cold front moves through Tuesday night, Wednesday, Thursday. High temperatures in the 70s. We'll start bumping back a few degrees towards the end of the week. And then next weekend, Memorial Day weekend around here, 80 degrees on Saturday, and then bumping up into the mid-80s by Sunday. So something to keep in mind as the unofficial start to summer kicks off next weekend. All right, let's talk about temperatures ahead of that, and then into, say, Memorial Day weekend and beyond through the rest of this month. Right now, looking like we are going to see above average temperature. So once we get through the little cool spell, middle of this week, things bounce back very quickly and likely stay there through the rest of this month. So that's temperature outlook May 23rd through the 27th, and then 25th through the 31st. Keeping above average temperatures here in our neck of the woods. All right, your 7-day forecast this week. Right now, I've left it about a 40% chance for showers and thunderstorms on Monday, especially north of Route 13. Highest chances will be along and north of Route 13, with probably the highest chances along the I-64 corridor, and then chances rapidly dropping off to the south. Tuesday brings a pretty good chance for widespread showers and thunderstorms. That's as the cold front approaches us. And then Monday, Wednesday, maybe a couple of showers still lingering around there on Wednesday morning, but significantly cooler. We've reached that time of year where pretty much each day features at least some chance of rain. So an isolated shower is still possible on Thursday, and then maybe a few more scattered showers and thunderstorms towards the end of the week and into next weekend. So nothing concrete at that point, but maybe daily chances for a couple of showers and thunderstorms out there. So all right, here looking back over everything, again, storms moving in from the north Monday afternoon and into the evening hours. A lot of uncertainty on how exactly far they are going to make their way into our region, but something to keep an eye on. And then Monday night and into Tuesday, that will all feature exactly what's going to happen on Tuesday. Right now, though, it does look like at least a chance for a couple of stronger storms with hail and some gusty winds over the next couple of days. Not really a huge deal, but it is something we will be tracking, of course, as well. Cooler behind the cold front moves through Tuesday night and early Wednesday morning, and then we start to bounce back as we head into Memorial Day weekend. If we do have any severe weather, of course, we'll be tracking it right here at Nick Housen Weather. So in the meantime, well, hopefully we get a little bit of rain in here, and hopefully we are able to dodge a lot of the severe weather and stay cool.